have a few questions in this. The risk reward ratio, it's a very interesting topic and most talked about topic. So when you've interviewed many people, what's a
Yeah.
typical success ratio you have observed? Is it around 30s or 50s or 70s in terms of
Yeah.
number of trades which have been right for them?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's exactly what I was going to say. So yeah, it's very interesting. I think the on average, I would say the batting average that a lot of people have, which is the percent of trades which end up being winners,
Yeah.
is maybe a little bit under 50%, maybe a little bit above 50%, but around then. Depending if they're kind of a swing trader or a position trader. Position trader meaning, you're trying to hold a position for weeks to months. Swing trader more, a few weeks at max. Often the swing traders will have slightly higher batting averages, but they're, the flip side to that is that they're often taking smaller gains as well. So there's kind of a balance there. But yeah, I would say the longer term position traders, Ryan Pierpont, I think you talked with him about this potentially. His batting average is in the 30s, but he's able to do phenomenally well because his reward to risk ratio is superb. So that's kind of what I would say about that. But I think there's this misconception in the markets that you have to be right 90% of the time to be a good trader, and that can be further from the truth. The best traders I've interviewed, are right about half the time in a good market.
Okay. And what has been the best risk reward ratio you would have heard, and you would have kind of blown away that, wow, how can it be possible that you have this kind of a risk reward ratio?
Yeah, I don't know if I have a hard number for you, but some people really like to take, just 5-to-1
Okay.
reward to risk ratio, and then if their batting average is anywhere close to 50%, they're doing phenomenally well. But that's often in the best of the best markets, like a market like in 2020 that
Yeah.
cleans up our mistakes. So that's not going to happen, every year. It's kind of those special events.
Okay. And how many people you have observed are making much more money when market is in bear market, or most of the people are making money in bull market only?
Yeah, of the people who I've interviewed, it's definitely the majority of the gains come in the bull markets.
Okay.
That's when the tides are kind of with us, and a lot of the traders I've interviewed are pretty much long only, meaning they only like to trade stocks in uptrends. But some of them do shorting as well, but shorting is a little bit more volatile. It's quicker, and the potential reward is a little bit less as well. So I would say most of the people who I've interviewed, their style favors strong bull markets where there's nice trends that they can ride versus corrections or bear markets where everything is a little bit choppier and volatile.
Okay. And is most of the people trading stocks, or people also trade very actively in indices?
Yeah, most of the traders I've interviewed are pretty much stocks only, and a little bit of options here and there, but mostly just stocks.
Why is it so? Is it because your preference is only to interview people who are trading stocks?
Yeah, it's not my bias, but it's kind of the people who I've interacted with on Twitter the
Okay.
most, and kind of trade my style. That's kind of what I do. I trade just stocks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'd actually love to interview people. I've been looking for interviews of people who do futures, options primarily, but I'd love to get their views as well because it might be a little bit different on all of this. But at the moment, just most of the traders I've interviewed happen to primarily trade just shares of stocks.
Sure, sure. Got it. Please
Yeah.
continue.